everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to start part 3 of our sugar crochet heart cookie. In part 1 we made the icing, the heart icing, and then in part 2 we made the cookie base, the heart cookie base. So today we're going to be decorating the icing, and then it's going to be a no-sew, no magic circle pattern again. But we're going to be combining the two and then stuffing it to make a a heart sugar cookie crochet. So, so if y'all missed part 1 and part 2, I'm going to link those down in the description, so definitely check those out. So first thing I want to start with is on the icing part. There's so many different ways to decorate it. I'm not going to decorate mine on camera today, but I just want to kind of talk about a few ways that you could decorate your icing. So one that I've done in the past is using acrylic paint and just painting like little sprinkles over, over the heart. You could use acrylic paint, or if it's easier, you could use like puffy or fabric paint. And you could also do like polka dots or swirls, flowers. I mean, really, you can do so many different things. Another thing you can do is you could make a lace effect on the border in either paint, or you can also like try to embroider it. You could also use real lace. Talking about embroidering, you can do like French knots, or you can embroider sprinkles, hearts, stars, flowers, and leaves, like little beads. So you could also use like glitter or sparkly yarn. You could use like glitter glue or just regular glitter and just put it all over the hearts. You can also do like mini tassels and pom-poms, buttons, beads. You can cut out sprinkles or confetti on like pieces of fabric. Or you could also do like little bows and ribbons, or if you want to make it like a little Valentine message heart, you could like embroider words or messages onto the icing as well. So those are just a few ways for how you can decorate the icing. Again, today I'm not gonna be decorating mine on camera. I am, however, going to be outlining my hearts in white, and then I'm going to go back in with that tan for the sugar cookie part. So, so that's just kind of covering, the decoration parts. Okay, so we're going to start with the part 1, the icing. And, so this part is what we are going to be using to crochet onto our cookie base. So for this one, if you don't want to have like a border around your icing, you can just use whatever color you used for the cookie base. I had used tan, but I'm going to go in with this white yarn, and I'm just going to kind of like an outline, kind of like a lace outline, just to give the icing some color. So let me unravel that real quick. Okay, so let's see, where is my hookers? So in this one, again, I'm just using the same hook. I'm using a 4.5mm hook. Okay, and so we're going to start working along the side of the heart. So around this area is where the heart bumps were. So I'm going to start like right around here. I mean, really it doesn't exactly matter because you're going to be outlining the entire heart anyway. So I'm just going to start like right around in here. Let's see, I'll start right here. Okay. So if you are changing colors, let's see, there we go. Okay, there we go. So I changed to white. Okay, so we're going to be doing single crochets all the way down to the end of the heart. Okay, so if I flip it back, so we just did single crochets all the way down and we reached the bottom of the heart. So at the bottom, we are going to be doing an increase in this stitch. We just want to make sure that we really get that, the end of the heart having a sharp point. We want to keep the heart definition. And really, if you want more of a sharper point as well, instead of an increase or 2 single crochets, you could do 3 single crochets if you want to, just to give it a little bit more definition, depending on how much you want of the heart definition. Okay, so that's probably good. Okay, so after that, we are then going to single crochet up into right about this area on this side where the heart bumps start. Let's see. So I might actually add another single crochet down at the end just to give it a little bit more of a point down here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, yeah, you can see, so before I had 2 single crochets, I just added an extra one down here and it really gave it more of that point. So this almost kind of reminds me of like some kind of marshmallow. The colors with the white and the light pink. Okay. And really, I mean, even if you like the back side more, whenever you do the color change, it kind of reminds me of lace a little bit. So if you're going for that look, I mean, you could always use the back side. It's really however you want to, whatever you want to do. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. I think I have about 3 more single crochets until we're going to switch to the bumps again. Let's see here. Oops. Okay, there we go. Let's see, actually I have like, looks like I have about 1 more single crochet I need to add in. Let's see here. Oh. Well, if I could get that to work. Okay, there we go. Let's see, does that look... So now we are about where we're back up at the heart bumps. Okay, so we are now going to make an increase in the next 2 stitches. Let's see, actually, I think I might have missed this stitch up a little bit. Maybe do that one. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so yeah, now we're on the the increase in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. And then we are going to be doing single crochets all throughout this part of the bump until we reach the little space right here where we're going to do the slip stitch again. But right now we're going to go back to single crochets. Okay, so we finished the first bump. Okay, so after all the single crochets, we are then going to do a slip stitch. Hi, Sinister Cleanse. You're awesome. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for dropping in. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the slip stitch. Oh, give me just a second. I can get that. Sometimes when I crochet, my tension is a little bit too tight and it makes it a little bit difficult to do slip stitches sometimes. Well, let's see if I can get it. Or sometimes, if it doesn't always work, sometimes I'll just go through the back from where the slip stitch is, and I'll just do like I'll just kind of bring the yarn through it, and then through that stitch, kind of like a single crochet, but it just goes to the entire back of the heart, and that kind of gives it a little bit more definition. So, okay, there we go. Let me make sure that worked. Yep, I think so. Okay. Let's see. That work right? Not quite. Okay. Okay, so let's see if I just do this. Does that still give it the definition I want? Not quite. Okay, so let's see. Sometimes when you get to this part of the heart, you just kind of have to play around with it a little bit and figure out, like on your specific project, what what works with with your heart. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Another option that I might try to do is just cut the yarn right here and then just go up on this side and finish off my my increases and just finishing off this side of the heart. That might be the easiest thing. I might just do that. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay, so I think I'm actually just gonna do that. Okay, so if you can, if you're able to, if you want to complete this part right here and not cut off the yarn, but I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn right now, and then I'm just going to go back over here and finish the side. My tension is just really, really tight to try to, I want to keep that heart shape, that sharp heart shape, and it's just not letting me at the moment, so I'm just going to cut that real quick. Okay. And we're going to do that. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back over to this side, and we're gonna start over here again. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Let me get this back up and going. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so actually instead of starting right here, I'm just going to continue starting right here. I'm right-handed, so if I started back over here, I would be going backwards, and then my yarn would actually look kind of like this because of the yarn switches, the yarn change, the color changes. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just continue off where I stopped. The only difference is that I cut my yarn, and I'm just going to start a new line right here with the same yarn. Okay. So let me go ahead and connect my yarn again. Okay. So next we are going to 4 single crochet. Okay, there's my 4 single crochet. And then I'm going to do 2 increases. I'm sorry, an increase in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so here's how our heart is looking now. And then I'm going to finish off with a single crochet. So basically from here down to where I started, those are going to be single crochet. So if I can get that, there we go. All right, there we go. Okay, and then what I'll do later on is I'll just go in with one of my needles and I'll just move this to, actually, I can do it right now. Let's see if I do that. Let's see. Let me try to fix this real quick. That's not the right one. Oops. Alright, there we go. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, in a little while I'm just going to go in with one of my embroidery needles and I'm just going to move this extra yarn to the back. So, okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to be decorating my icing on video, but a few ideas that I was talking about earlier. I learned that it's actually a lot easier to like do your embroidery and decorating before you sew up your crochet. So just a few ideas. You can use acrylic paint and you can, paint on top of the yarn little sprinkles or whatever design you want. You can also use a puffy or fabric paint and you can make like polka dots, swirls, flowers. You can also do a lace effect like what I was talking about earlier. You can use real lace if you want and just cut it and use fabric glue and glue it on, or you can paint it on, or earlier, like I mentioned, whenever I did the color change on the back, it kind of has this, I'm not sure if you can really see it very well on camera, but it has this kind of braided lace look effect if that's what you're going for. So some more ideas, if you're into embroidery, you can do like French knots, beads, hearts, stars, flowers and leaves, sprinkles, or if you have if you want to stick with yarn, you can embroider sprinkles with the yarn. You can use like glitter or sparkly yarn. You can also, if you want the whole thing glittery, you can use like glitter glue or regular glitter. I've seen at like the dollar store, or you can crochet them. You can make little like mini tassels and pom-poms. If you have like extra buttons from like shirts and stuff, you can decorate with those. You can decorate with beads. You can cut out like little sprinkles and confetti with like pieces of fabric. You can also use bows and ribbons, or if you're going for kind of like a Valentine heart message, or like one of those little sweetheart candies, you can embroider like words or other messages on it too. So there's so many different ways that you can decorate your cookie. But I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with mine. I know for sure I just wanted that white outline, so I won't be decorating mine on camera. But if anyone is following this tutorial, I would love to see what y'all do, how y'all decorate your cookies, and the different colors that y'all use. So okay, so that is pretty much it for the icing for now. So okay, so I'm gonna now switch over to, so for the cookie part, I had used this tan. So all of this yarn is actually the Woobles brand Easy Peasy yarn, but I mean you can use this with any kind of yarn you have. So I use, for the cookie part, I use this tan color. So depending on how big your heart is, if you want the cookie part to actually be on the outer side, like to be really showing, that's how I'm gonna do it. You can do another like one or two outlines with just the brown before you sew it all together. So that's what I want to do, because I want it to really look like a sugar cookie. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my brown now, or with my tan, I should say. Now, with the tan, because we have that heart definition really already there, I'm not super worried about making the tan really look like it's part of the hearts. Because again, we already have, a lot of that definition for the icing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a color change with the tan. Let's see, did I do it? I think I got it right. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Sometimes I do color changes backwards, and it's not exactly... Okay, now I had it right. Okay. So we're gonna just kind of do what we did earlier. We're just gonna be doing single crochets down the side until we get to the bottom of the heart. Okay, now we're down at the bottom of the heart. So here's how it's looking so far. Okay, so now at the bottom, depending on... Well, so I'm not really too worried about the heart definition so much anymore because, like I said earlier, we already have the pink, the icing's done. So if the point isn't really super noticeable, if you want to make it super noticeable, you can do like 2 or 3 single crochets into this next stitch. Let's see. If I can get it to work. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 single crochets right here. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so here's how it's looking. And then I'm going to go ahead and do single crochets all the way up the side of the heart until we reach the bumps again. So now if you don't want to do like another outline, like I did the white outline first, basically instead of using or going from your icing color to, like I did the white, you would just go straight from the icing color to your cookie color. So that's part of my my decoration was the white yarn. Okay, so I made it far enough with the tan that I'm going to go ahead and cut my white yarn, because after the color change, I'm not needing it anymore. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. So I think I need to do a couple more single crochets. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're pretty much back at the bumps of the hearts. So here's how it's looking. I need to get my needle and put this into the back of the heart so it's out of the way. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. So now we're back at the bumps. So we're gonna go ahead and do another 4. Actually, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna do another 4 single crochet into the bump right here. Let's see. Okay, so let me just... Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. Okay, and then we are going to do... Let's see, I believe it is... 1, 2... Yeah, okay. And then we're going to be doing an increase in the next 2 stitches. Okay. And then we're going to be doing a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay. So here is how our cookie is looking now. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, and then we're going to be doing a slip stitch into this next stitch right here. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we are going to do 2 single crochet. Make sure that is, yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we are going to be doing an increase in the next 2 stitches. Hi Montana 8584, how are you doing? Okay, so there is our next 2 or our increases, and then we're just going to finish single crochet along this side until we reach that tan yarn again. There we go. I'm doing well. That's good. Thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so that now will get, okay, so we finished the tan. So this tan outline now is going to be what we use to connect to our original cookie base. So we're not going to cut this yarn, and so I'm doing a no-sew pattern. So what you can do is, you know, you can sew the 2 pieces together. This one obviously will go on the back, and you'll just sew that brown that brown row that we just did to this row, and then you'll stuff it with fiberfill as you go. I'm not the best at sewing, so I have found I've tried patterns where, you know, it's just a no-sew pattern. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So the back cookie is obviously going to be a little bit smaller. We don't have as many rows as the front cookie, but that's why we did the outline. So we're just going to line them up. And actually all of these little extra pieces, we can hide them into the cookie. So, or you can always cut them off. So there we go. That's a little bit better. Then we're just going to line it up. So basically you're going to be doing single crochets, but you're going to pull your hook through the front part of the cookie, and then you're also going to be going in through the stitch on the, so we have it on the front part, and then you're going to be going in through the stitch on the back part as well. And so basically instead of sewing, you're using your crochet needle to crochet the 2 pieces together. And then you just pull through, and there we go. So we're basically going to be doing that all around the whole cookie, and we're going to be stuffing our cookie with fiberfill as we go. Sometimes it can be a little difficult. Like I said earlier, I use a lot of strong tension in my crochet, so sometimes it is a little difficult to get the needle, or say your crochet hook, through both sides of the cookie, or of the hearts. But let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's how the front is looking. And then as you can see on the side, we've already combined about 3 stitches so far on the side. And then we're just going to keep going from there. And then here's, of course, the back. Okay. Well, if I can get it. There we go. Oops, okay. Okay, and then every now and then you may just have to kind of straighten out the cookie a little bit. So far we have this side pretty well sewn together. So we're not really going to start stuffing the cookie. So we finished pretty much up till right from about here to here. We're going to go ahead and crochet these 2 pieces together on this side, and then once we get to the top, we're going to go ahead and start stuffing the cookie. I have to hop off, but have a wonderful night of crochet. Oh, thank you! And thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it, Montana. Oops. Okay, so there we go. So, and for those of y'all who, who enjoy sewing and are, you can always sew the 2 pieces together. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we've reached the bottom. So here's what the front looks like. We've started, let's see, we've combined the side from right about here all the way down. Here's what the front part of that looks like. And then the side from right about here, if my camera will focus. And then the back side is a little crazy looking, but we've sewn up, or we've connected these parts right here. So, let's see here. Okay, so now we're at the bottom of the cookie, and we're just going to keep doing the same thing. It's basically a single crochet in both. You're going to take the front loop of the front cookie, if I can get my hook, then the front cookie, and then the front loop of the back cookie. And then you're just going to do yarn over, pull through all the loops, and there you go. Okay, so there's the bottom, so now we're going to work on the other side of the cookie. This is just an alternative way instead of sewing. So I'm not the best at sewing, so for me this is a bit easier to do. There we go. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. Oops. Okay, so here's how it's looking again so far. Okay, here's how it's looking. We have sewn up right about here to right here, both sides of the cookie. So we're going to go ahead and sew up until right about here, and once we hit here, we're going to start stuffing the piece with our stuffing with the fiberfill. Okay, and here is how it's looking so far. Let me tuck in a few of these yarns up here. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and start stuffing our piece here in a moment. Actually, it's too much of the extra yarn. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we've gotten to a pretty good point where we can go ahead. We've sewn up about half of our cookie so far. So we're going to go ahead and start stuffing our cookie with our polyfill. Okay. So yeah, you can see as you start stuffing it, it'll kind of start poofing out, and you know, the front and the back piece will start leveling out a little bit. It'll look a little bit more like a heart. So let's see. Okay. So yeah, we're just going to finish up the heart. We're just going to finish doing single crochets along the front and the back heart. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut right here because I'm going to go ahead and just finish sewing the top piece. If you don't want to do any sewing, you can just continue with that single crochet where, you know, you combine one of the front loops and the back loops together, and then you just do a single crochet to tie them together. But just because for me, normally that's easier, but because we're about to get into the bumps of the hearts, I'm going to go ahead and just cut my yarn, and then I'm just going to finish sewing the pieces together. So, let me do that. Okay, so, but anyway, but here's how it's looking so far. I may have added a little bit too much stuffing. Let me take some out. And really, I mean, you can use as little or as much stuffing as you want. So, let me take out a little bit more. Okay, there we go. That's looking a little bit more like a cookie. Okay, so let me go grab my my embroidery needle, and we'll go ahead and finish sewing up the cookie. Give me just a moment. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to cut a piece of my yarn, and then, alright, there we go. Okay, so let's see, I stopped right about here. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and finish sewing the pieces together, since we're getting kind of close to the heart bumps now. Let's take out a little bit more stuffing. For some reason, I just cannot seem to get the stuffing to look right. Okay, so now we have sewn, let's see, we've done from right here, we've sewn down, and then we've sewn across, and now we are right about here. So we've sewn about 3/4 of the cookie. So right about now is when you want to finish, you know, stuffing, however much stuffing or how little stuffing you want. You want to go ahead and just finish that. Okay, so... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this white yarn that's been there for a while. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's see. Actually, you can use it to sew if you want, but I'm just hiding that white yarn just to kind of get rid of that. And then I'll probably go in with some pink yarn and cover that little piece right there. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. So we're right up here, so we have this, pretty much this bump right here to finish sewing together. So... oh, there we go. Okay, so now I'm just going back in with the tan yarn and just doing a little bit more sewing. Oops. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I just have this little piece to sew up right here, which really is maybe like 3 more stitches right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then, let's see. So what I might do is come down here and crochet a little bit more, just to make that end look a little bit more like a heart. So, let's see. I am just about done sewing this up now. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm about done sewing it up now. So, hi Lily and Luna, thank you so much. And you're very welcome. Hopefully this was helpful. So anyway, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Let's see. I think as far as the is it easy? Um yeah, I would say so. It's definitely a beginner tutorial. I found one where it doesn't have the magic ring. I actually filmed I did a part 1 and part 2 the last couple days. And part 1 was the icing, and then part 2 was the back of the cookie. And then today I put it all I sewed it all together. But it doesn't have the magic ring. It actually goes in rows. So I started down here at the bottom of the heart, and I just worked my way up. And they were all, they were all either single crochet or increases. And then once you got up to the bumps, it was like a couple double crochets, a triple crochet, a half double crochet, and then it was same for the other side for the bumps. So I would say it's pretty easy. So okay, let me go and hide some more of these extra yarn pieces. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So I might go back and add a little bit more down here just to give it more of a heart shape. But I haven't quite decided yet. Okay, I just got on, sorry. Oh no, not a problem at all. Yeah, I recorded part 1 and part 2. I uploaded them to my channel. But yeah, I mean, it's a super easy pattern. And really, I mean, the front, the icing part and the cookie part, I mean, it's the same pattern. They're both hearts. It's just with the icing, you're adding a couple more rows so that way you can sew it to the back. So anyway, I'm probably going to go in. I'm going to go in with some more pink yarn, and I'm just going to cover this little white spot right here. And then I might add a little bit, just kind of some little detail stuff, but anyway, so anyway, if anyone has any more questions, let me know. I'm going to be logging off pretty soon. Was it easy learning for you? So I started crocheting like amigurumi probably about a year and a half ago, and when I first started, it was a mess. At one point, the very first pattern I tried to do was a bumblebee, and my husband jokes that it turned into a flying tater tot because it did not look anything like a bumblebee. So that was my first one, and then my mom learned how to crochet with that same pattern, and then she taught me. So it's kind of like once you get the foundation, like the very few foundational stitches, it's a lot easier to learn. Um, so, but ever since then, I mean, I've made quite a few. I don't have a lot of them right here in front of my camera at the moment. Um, but I've done like little dinosaurs and stingrays. I've done different like plants and let's see. I've done some other little animals. I've made the elf movie. I've made some of those characters. So I just kind of dabble in a bunch of little different things. I have tried just regular like crochet patterns, like for blankets and stuff. I have made like some bookmarks and stuff. I don't have the patience to do a whole to sit there for several hours and do the same pattern over and over. I like to switch it up a little bit. Um, but but yeah, as far as this one goes, I mean, it's a pretty easy pattern. It just starts with, you know, single crochets and then increases. So as long as you really know how to do those, it's a pretty, this one, the sugar cookie, is a pretty easy pattern. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do a few little, I'm learning right now. It's hard. Yeah, it is definitely, it's definitely difficult. I was one of those. I know the magic ring was extremely hard to learn, and so it took me a long time, and it wasn't until my mom like actually learned it. It took her a while to learn, and then she sat down and had to show me how to do it. Um, but I'm probably gonna make a few little short clips on, you know, the beginner crochet stitches. Um, I just haven't quite gotten around to it yet. But let's see. But yeah, I tried at least for this pattern. I tried it with without um, the magic ring. This is just simple single crochet rows. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and log off for now. I will be back on tomorrow. When the next time am I going live? I'll be back on again tomorrow. I'm in Central Standard Time. I get on about 10:15, 10:30, for about an hour or so. But I'll be back on again tomorrow. So, but thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I hope y'all all enjoyed this, and if you try the pattern, I would love to know how it went for you, and if you can, you know, tag me. I have a TikTok as well. Um, it's the same tag, the Scribbling Squid. But if y'all enjoyed all these live streams and tutorials, please make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow.